So Dragon Ball Super episode 55 aired today or yesterday, I suppose. But anyways, the episode aired and it was a fun episode. It didn't really seem to feed too deep into the ongoing plot that they've established so far with the Zamasu mystery and the Black mystery, all that other stuff that they're doing. So basically what happens in this episode in a nutshell is Zeno calls for Goku. Goku makes his way to Zeno's planet. We meet some interesting characters like Shin-Kan, I believe his name was. He's the High Priest, one of the 5 strongest fighters amongst all of the universes. So that guy can lay down. So he could throw down, excuse me, lay down. That sounded kind of funny. So basically, they get over to Zeno. Zeno wants a friend. That friend happens to be Goku because he enjoyed the way, back in episode 41, how Goku shook his hand because that apparently was new to him. And Goku raised him off the ground when he did that. So in this episode, he keeps asking Goku to do it, and Goku does it a couple of times. It's almost as if they have like a secret handshake, like they're best friends with this handshake. So they remind me of like basketball players. So they have like all those handshakes on the sidelines before they start the game. Anybody? Huh? No? Okay, fine. Anyways, so aside from that, Bulma completed the time machine. Trunks is asleep. They wake up Trunks, of course, because he needs to go to the future. The time machine is done. Goku, Trunks, and Vegeta make their way into the future. While there, they notice that Mai is not there anymore where her beanie was, or whatever that was, her little hat thingy. So Trunks is like, where'd she go? I left her right here. And the Resistance comes up, sees Goku. Apparently, he looks like Black, of course, so they mistook him as being Black. So they basically launch an attack on him, and oh my god, missiles or rockets or whatever they are, rocket launcher thingy mabobs are coming at Goku. How will he ever survive this? Total tension. I'm sorry, Dragon Ball Super, you fail at tension if this is the best you can do sometimes. Anyways, I just took a shot at the show, but I didn't really mean it that way. Anyways, so like I said, it was a fun episode. I mean, there was a lot of little drop lines in here that are kind of interesting, so hopefully I can get them all. So like I said, I'm going to start off with the Shin-Kan. We kind of theorized and speculated that he was the guy that maybe trained Whis and Vados and those type of characters, like those attendant type of characters. We don't know anything about those characters, and we also don't really particularly know anything about the Shin-Kan other than the fact that he is one of the 5 strongest characters across all of the 12 universes, I believe. But that makes sense, though, right? Because Zeno is the one overseeing all of them, so he would have a bunch of strong characters in his presence, so it makes sense, right? So, aside from that, I mean, Whis tells Goku that the Shin-Kan could basically screw Whis over. Whis can't even hold a candle to that guy. So that just lets you know how big the disparity is between Goku and that character, because Goku can't even touch Beerus. Beerus can't touch Whis, and Whis can't touch this guy, and this guy is one of the 5 strongest. He could be 5th, and there's other guys in between those guys, and then Zeno being at the top. Now, when you talk about Zeno as far as power, I have a video that I will link down below for you guys. I did it earlier this week where I talk about, is Zeno too powerful? The reason it's called powerful is because people seem to think that Zeno isn't strong because he doesn't seem to be a fighter. So 2 things I have to comment on is Zeno may not be a fighter. I don't recall any dialogue pertaining to that, but he may not be a fighter, whether they've stated so in the show or not. He simply just may not be. He doesn't look it. He doesn't appear to be a fighter. I can't imagine him throwing down. I want to say that Toriyama's always had underwhelming character designs like that, where it's like, this guy looks to be really, really weak, da-da-da-da. I want to kind of throw Monaka out there because Monaka, in Goku's eyes, regardless of how he looks, is still a very strong character. So obviously we know about Monaka and what he really is, but as far as like Goku goes, as a strong character. So we have characters like Kid Buu. We saw Gohan when he was a kid with the constant flashes. Everybody underestimated him because he was a kid, but he would get pissed off and he'd kick everybody's ass for a second. He even beat Frieza down for a second. So like, it kind of gets all over the place with these kids and these unimposing designs is what I want to call them. So Zeno doesn't have to be a fighter. This leads me into my second notion here. The Supreme Kai, or the Kaioshin, goes with Goku and Whis over to that planet because apparently Whis would have to travel by like his light speed travel thingy that he does, and it would have taken him 2 days to get there. That shows how far away that realm is, versus the Supreme Kai, the Kaioshin, once again, has the ability to just say Kai Kai and get you there instantly. That's pretty dope, to be honest. Like a instant transmission directly to his planet or his realm. So that is dope as hell. So he goes with them, and of course he's freaking freaking out the whole time, right? Because everybody is just, this whole episode, everybody's like, Goku, don't fuck up, don't say anything, because if you do, you'll basically kill us all. So the whole time they're just like freaking out. So the Kaioshin is stomping on his foot, elbowing, like, hey, calm down, stop being rude, because Goku's a rude guy apparently. So it's not really that he's rude in particular, it's just that he doesn't have any mannerisms really, because he's a wild boy. So that translates to him being rude in a sense, because he doesn't know how to formally talk. Well, he does, but he doesn't casually do it. It's just not how he is. Not to say he doesn't recognize authority or anything. That's just not who Goku is in particular. So, aside from that, Zeno was like, he asked Goku if he wanted to be his friend. Goku's like, hey, I can't do that now. I can later after the stuff we have to do. And the Kaioshin's like, no, he wants to be your friend, all this other stuff. And Zeno peeks over him. He's like, hey, shut up. Kaioshin basically passes out from there. He winds up passing out. And Goku is like, hey, you don't have to call me Goku-san. You can just call me Goku. And he was like, oh, what are you going to call me? And Goku's like, I'll just call you Zen-chan. And his attendants got livid. They got pissed off, and they were about to bum rush Goku. And, they were like, you need to learn some respect. And Zeno turns around to them like, hey, shut up. And I'm like, this guy's a savage. He was like, I will wipe you out. I'll eliminate you. I was like, this guy is a straight savage. Don't let the looks fool you, bro. This guy is a savage. Now, back to my point, he doesn't have to be a physical fighter. He could just have an ability that he snaps his fingers and you're gone. Boom, just done. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that is power at that point. That's not strength and how strong you are, because when you think about strength, that comes down to being more of a physical asset. He has an ability. It sounds like he has some sort of ability. I would be highly shocked if he was actually like a physical fighter like Goku and Vegeta are. But anyways, so don't underestimate Zeno. He's a cool guy. And check that video out if you guys are interested. It will be in the description. That was a very long promo to my video. Anyways, kind of moving on from that, another thing I thought was really interesting, I didn't really get a chance to really particularly review it because I kind of stopped doing manga chapter reviews when the anime caught up and basically passed it up. But in the latest chapter, they kind of dropped a line in there about how the Kaioshin and the Hakaishin, the gods of destruction, are basically a set. They're a pair. If one dies, the other dies. So that's very, very interesting. It's really interesting in particular because they talk about that and why the god of destruction, which would be Beerus, of course, in that future timeline, didn't intervene in Trunks' timeline and all these different things. So it's really interesting. And then the Dragon Ball Super episode today kind of drops the same hint. I think that's a really cool, interesting idea to say that they're a pair. But also at the same time, it kind of contradicts what Toriyama said in an interview way back. And he was like, hey, these Supreme Kai, the Kaioshin, grow on a tree. Whenever one dies, another fruit grows to replace it. So it's really kind of contradictory, but I really don't particularly care because that was just something he said in the interview. It was never really something that was expanded upon in the anime or anything like that. So this is a little bit different, or in the manga for that sense. So this is a little bit different. And I think it's a really cool idea in contrast. It means that they basically have like this symbiotic relationship to where they need the other one to survive. And I think that's a really cool concept because, the Kaioshin can't die. Basically, it means that they're there to balance each other out. So I think that's really, really cool, by the way. But as far as Beerus goes, it was cool seeing him have interest in that. Like, obviously it wasn't that he cares about the Kaioshin in particular. It's just that he didn't want to die himself. He told Whis to make sure nothing happens to him. Not that Whis could stop Zeno anyway. But, he just told him not to make sure nothing happens to him. And that's when Whis explains all this to Goku. And Goku's like, oh, if I need to beat you, I can just beat the Kaioshin. That's no fun. Never mind. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, because I think Geekdom said it in his review. Shout out to Geekdom, even though he doesn't need those from me. It's my guy, Danny. I'm pretty sure that he said that he kind of pointed out, and I agree, there was so many different Kais in at least this realm. Who would he be linked to, Beerus? Is he linked to the younger Kai, but he's been around probably longer than the younger Kai because the elder Kai is a lot older, of course? Is he linked to the elder Kai? Like, is it just a thing where he links to all of them? Like, what is it? I don't know. Which one can die and which ones can't because the other ones don't exist anymore. So that's why it kind of becomes an issue. But kind of talking about Zamasu, I left everything with Zamasu for the end of the review. I'm getting a little long here, so I'm going to wrap it up. Basically, they kind of show them on the planet with the barbarians again, the barbarians or whatever they are. And one of them tries to bum rush Zamasu and Gowasu. At that point, Zamasu deflects him, knocks him back. He comes bum rushing them again. And at this point, he goes full on spirit sword, Yu Yu Hakusho on his ass, and he busts out his best Kuwabara impersonation, all right? He cuts him in half, and I was like, this is savage. Now, there's still no blood and gore. It's just kind of just not what Dragon Ball Super's flavor is, but he slices him in half, and that was awesome to see. He just splits him in half, honestly, no holes barred. So from there, Gowasu was like, why did you do that? That's not our job. He's been pointing out that that's not their job the whole time. He said, you could have altered the timeline. That guy may have had a important role on their history and all these different things. He's like, you shouldn't have done that. And Zamasu's still continually questioning the gods and the roles amongst the mortals and all these different things. And he's not in agreement with the fact that their job is basically to sit idly and watch as things develop. They're not there to destroy things. That's Beerus's job. He's the one that would have needed to wipe out the barbarians if they got out of hand. That's not their job. Their job is to simply sit there and watch and nurture. That's basically what they do. And he's like, yo, it's a sin to sit there and watch, is basically what he says. And they keep cutting to the T. And when he's questioning all this, it's really, really murky. Now, at the end, when he's done questioning this, you guys can let me know your opinions on it. I don't really know what it really was because it cleared up at the end. He said something about, I forgot the exact verbiage, but he said something about, we are here to kind of watch all these different things. And he was questioning that motive. And he said, it's not righteous to allow this stuff to happen. Basically, the humans that have gained wisdoms are the really evil ones. They're even cocky enough to challenge gods in Goku sense and all these different things. And the T either cleared up because he was right and he has a sense of righteousness, or it got incredibly basically murky to the sense that you don't see the waves and ripples in it anymore because he's just going full on dark at this point. They're basically painting the picture that he's black, and they've been doing it the whole time. I really hope he's not, because it's too easy. I saw theories about maybe the T contaminating Gowasu and changing Gowasu into being black ultimately. Something to point out is that he gave back the Potara whenever they came back to their realm, but honestly, he was going to give it away anyway. So he was a temporary Kaioshin. He only became Kaioshin so he could go to the future, basically, because you need to be Kaioshin. I don't know why people are pointing that out like that's some sort of really big plot device. He may take it back somehow and get the time ring, obviously, because you need the earring to use the time ring. Whoa, wink, wink. But that was always going to happen anyway. He was always going to give that back. Aside from that, really nothing else in particular happens. They've been showing in the later portion of the episode, they showed a lot of those pink roses. Wink, wink. Little flower things, petals, leaf petals, whatever they were, just kind of flying around in the wind. And that definitely seems like symbolism for Goku Black and his Super Saiyan Pink transformation, which will be airing officially for the first time next week. I always thought it was legit. I don't think Danny would ever kind of just lie to population or make up things. He would never say anything if he didn't know it was confirmed. People were giving him slack for that. I didn't bother to comment on it, make a video on it or anything like that, because I wanted to wait until we got images and the preview and things like that. So what I will do, I don't typically do this. It'll probably be the second time ever I've done this. I will do a prediction / preview video. So that'll be up shortly later on today when you guys are seeing this. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's review nonetheless. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I will catch you guys next time. This has been D Free, and I am out. Peace out.